Raila Odinga was born at Maseno Church Missionary Society Hospital in Maseno, Kisumu District, Nyanza Province on 7th of January 1945 to the late Mary Ajuma Odinga and the late Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, the first Vice President of the Republic of Kenya under the regime of the first President of Kenya, the late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta.
For independence and work.
Odinga is said to be a learned professional politician who attended Kisumu Union Primary School, Miranda Primary School, and Miranda High School, where he stayed until 1962. He spent the next 2 years at the Harder Institute, a part of the philological faculty at the University of Leipzig in East Germany. He received a scholarship in 1965 that sent him to the Technical School Magdeburg, now a part of Otto von Guericke University in Magdeburg. In 1970, he graduated with a Masters of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Then he later returned to Kenya in 1970. In 1971, Odinga established the Standard Processing Equipment Construction and Erection Limited, which later renamed to East African Spectra, a company that is specialized in manufacturing of liquid petroleum gas cylinders. In 1974, he was appointed Group Standards Manager of the Kenya Bureau of Standards, and in 1978, he was promoted to its Deputy Director, a post he held until his 1982 detention. Raila Odinga is married to Ida Odinga, with whom they have 4 children, the late Fidel Castro, Rosemary Odinga, Raila Jr., and Winnie Odinga. In 1982, Raila Odinga was placed under house arrest for 7 months by then Daniel Moi, the President of Kenya. Raila was later charged with treason following his political agitation for a wider democratic space and detained without trial for 6 years.
Kwanza sisi tumekuwa kikundi ambayo tumekuwa tunajiita wakombozi, na hii kikundi ilijumuisha wale wa Kenya ambao walikuwa wanataka mabadiliko, kuondolewa kwa ile fungu ambayo waliweka kwenye katiba. Tulianza hii wakati tulienda kufanya kampeni Mheshimiwa James Orengo kule Ugenya. Tukafanya kampeni kwa fidi ya CEO kule Karachuonyo, na tukaelekea kule Nyeri mjini kufika kampeni kwa jamaa alikuwa anaitwa Wangondi wa Kariuki. Tukaamua tujaribu kusajilisha shamba hiyo pamoja na Jaramogi, tukakatazwa. Hapo ndio kukawa sasa kuna shida, na kukawa na ile majaribio ya kupindulia serikali na kikosi cha wanahewa, na sisi vilevile tukashikwa. Mimi na wenzangu tukashtakiwa kupanga majaribio ya kupindulia serikali, lakini walikuwa hawana ushahidi. Baada ya kuwekwa rimandi kule kamiti kwa miezi 6, wakalazimishwa kuondoa hiyo shtaka. Kwa hivyo nataka ijulikane kwamba serikali yenyewe withdraw hiyo shtaka na ikaweka mambo nole prosecute. Lakini baadaye tukashikwa hapo mahakamani na tukapelekwa gerezani sasa kama detainees. Tukazuiwa kisiasa, nikauliza miaka 6 huko gerezani.
His mother died in 1984, but it took the prison wardens 2 months to inform him of her passing, an experience he openly confesses as one of the most traumatizing in his eventful life.
Wakati mama alipoaga, ndugu wangu mkubwa Dr. Oburu alinitumia mimi telegram kuniarifu ati mama ameondoka. akauliza serikali iniruhusu niweze kwenda kuzika mama yangu. Hiyo telegram ilichukua miezi 3 kabla hawajanipatia. Walipokuwa wananiletea mimi hiyo telegram, jamaa alikuwa ananiangalia kimacho ikiwa kama ningekuwa ni mtu mwingine amenivutia, lakini mimi nikajifanya mimi ni hasira zaidi.
Released on February 1988, he was rearrested in September 1988 for his involvement with human rights and pro-democracy activists pressing for multi-party democracy in Kenya, which was then a one-party state. Raila was released on 12th of June 1989, only to be incarcerated again on 5th of July 1990, together with Kenneth Matiba and former Nairobi Mayor Charles Rubia. Raila was released on 21st of June 1991, and in October, he fled the country for Norway with a hint that Kenyan government would attempt to assassinate him.
Nikaa huko usiku 10 nikipigwa, nikiwekwa kwa maji na yale yote. Ilikuwa baada ya kuwekwa ndani mara ya 3, na wakati huo ndio rafiki yangu Marekani ambaye alikuwa anafanya kazi ya ujasusi alikuja akaniambia ati hao jamaa wana mpango mbaya. Niliondolewa hapa kisiri na mimi nikatoka mpaka nikaenda mpaka Kampala. Na kutoka kule Kampala nikafanya mpango na nikaenda huko Norway, pale ambapo nilikuwa kama mkimbizi wa kisiasa.
Tukitaka kuimarisha chama cha KANU lazima tuangalie kwamba tunasafisha. Na kusafisha sio kusema kusafisha na kuna Ford ndani yake, ili tuone hawa walio katika siasa, wale walio watumishi wa serikali, tuondoe ile section ya katiba ya Kenya ya 2A.
At the time of Raila's departure to Norway, the Forum for the Restoration of Democracy, FORD, a movement formed to agitate for the return of multi-party democracy to Kenya, was newly formed. In February 1992, Raila returned to join FORD, then led by his father Raila Odinga. He was elected vice chairman of the General Purposes Committee of the party, and in the months running up to the 1992 general election, FORD split into FORD Kenya, led by Raila's father Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and FORD Asili, led by Kenneth Matiba. Raila became FORD Kenya's Deputy Director of Elections. Odinga won the Langata constituency parliamentary seat, previously held by Philip Liki of Kanu, when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga died in January 1994, and Michael Wamalwa Kijana succeeded him as FORD Kenya chairman. Raila challenged him for the party leadership. The elections were marred by controversy after Raila Odinga resigned from FORD Kenya to join the National Development Party, NDP.
To you at the moment is nothing. Put on your ukanda. Funga sawa sawa.
Sasa tutakuwa na rais mpya, Kenneth Matiba.
Sisi kama Young Turks, tulikuwa naitwa Young Turks, tulikuwa 5: Paul Mwite, Anyang' Nyong'o, James Orengo, Joe Ager na mimi. Wa 6 mwingine alikuwa ni Jaramogi. Yeye ndiye tulikuwa tunasema yeye ndio alikuwa ni the oldest of the Young Turks.
From now on, I have resigned from being the umpire of FORD Kenya.
We'll have another go. We are not giving up. The party is still there. The constitution has not been suspended. The NEC is still there. We'll have another go at another election. Omalo Kijana is no longer chairman of Ford Kenya. Okay? Ford Kenya is now going from henceforth to be led by a caretaker committee.
In the 1997 general election, Raila finished third after President Moi, the incumbent, and the Democratic Party candidate, the late President Mwai Kibaki. He retained his position as the Lang'ata MP. After the election, Raila supported Moi's government and led a merger between his party NDP and the Moi's KANU party. Here, he served in Moi's cabinet as the energy minister from June 2001 to 2002 during Moi's final term. In the subsequent KANU elections held later that year, he was elected the party's Secretary General, replacing the late J.J. Kamotho.
Chama cha NDP kimeshajidissolve. Tutaishusha bendera ya NDP.
Then they raise the other one. They beat the market.
The merger of KANU, a party of government since independence, with the NDP, a proactive and pragmatic party of opposition, presents us with an opportunity to serve Kenyans better.
The idea is not merely to dilute one party or swallow another party.
There come a time when the nation is more important than an individual.
Napendekeza Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga awe katibu mkuu.
In 2002, the late President Daniel Arap Moi pulled a surprise by endorsing Uhuru Kenyatta, a son to the Kenya's first president, Jomo Kenyatta, to be his successor. Moi publicly asked Raila Odinga and others to support Uhuru Kenyatta as well. Raila and other KANU members, including the Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka and the late George Saitoti and the late Joseph Kamotho, opposed this step, arguing that the then 38-year-old Uhuru was politically inexperienced and lacked the leadership qualities needed to govern.
Na huyu ni Uhuru
Tulipokuwa kule ndani, kukawa kuna mvurutano huko ndani, ili KANU ya mkongwe na new KANU. Kwa tukafika wakati ambao Moi mwenyewe anasema yeye ndiye anateua yule ambaye atakuwa candidate ya chama, na nikamwambia kupana, kama tuliingia hapa na tulikubaliana, masharti ilikuwa ni ya kwamba chochote ambaye atachaguliwa mpaka apige kura na wanachama wa chama.
The Rainbow Movement went on to join the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, which later teamed up with Mwai Kibaki's National Alliance Party of Kenya, NARC, in a coalition of several other parties to form the National Rainbow Coalition, NARC, that eventually defeated Moi's protege, Uhuru Kenyatta.
We have gone through very, very difficult process of negotiations. I know many of our friends may not have been happy with what we have been doing. We have been called names. We have been told that we will not get anywhere. But I want to say that those prophets of doom have now been proved wrong.
Rainbow and NAC are today in the same democratic boat.
Today, we are gathering to cement our unity ahead of victory.
This is the ultimate solution to the removal of Moi from power and the casting to the bushes of his so-called project.
This initiative was inspired by one burning desire by the Kenyans to see a united democratic front within the opposition that can rid this country of authoritarian rule and restore democracy to our motherland.
President Kibaki failed to honor a pre-election agreement regarding political equity among the stakeholders in NARC Kenya and pledged made to the Kenyan people to review the Kenyan constitution within 100 days of the election. The perceived betrayal led to open rebellion and split within the cabinet, which culminated in disagreements over a proposed new constitution for the country.
Deputy Prime Minister Kipruto Arap-Kiro, unaona, Chief Coordinating Minister Uncle Mudi Awori. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa tumekubaliana. Sasa ambao hawakuwa kule tuliposhinda, sasa Rainbow Coalition wameshinda, wengine hawakuwa wameshughulikia mambo haya wakaingilia sasa. Na ikumbuke rais mwenyewe sasa akapata anjali. anashinda kati ako kwa wheelchair.
The government-backed Constitution Committee submitted a draft constitution that was perceived to consolidate powers of the presidency and weaken regional governments, as had been provided for under an earlier draft before the 2002 general elections. Raila opposed this, and when the document was put to a referendum on the 21st of November 2005, the government lost by 57% to 43% margin. Following this, President Kibaki sacked the entire cabinet on November 23, 2005. When it was formed 2 weeks later, Raila and the entire LDP group were left out. This led to the formation of the Orange Democratic Movement, the famous ODM. And orange was the symbol for the no vote in the Constitution referendum. In August 2007, the Orange Democratic Movement Kenya split into two, with Raila Odinga becoming the head of the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, while the other faction, the ODMK, was headed by Kalonzo Musyoka. On 1st of September 2007, the ODM elected Raila Odinga as its presidential candidate in a national delegates conference held at the Moi International Sports Center in Nairobi. Odinga receiving 2,656 votes. The only other candidates receiving significant number of votes were Musalia Mudavadi with 391 votes and William Ruto with 368. Odinga then later launched his presidential campaign in Uhuru Park in Nairobi on 6th of October 2007.
Tulikuwa na mwana Kibaki na mimi nilisimama hapa kwa uwanja huu na nikasema Kibaki tosha. Sio. Leo hii nimerudi tena katika uwanja wa Kisumu tarehe 16 Disemba kusema Kibaki toka.
Following the presidential election held on 27th of December, the Electoral Commission declared Kibaki the winner on 30th of December 2007, placing him ahead of Raila Odinga by about 232,000 votes. Raila and his ODM leaders rallied against the decision, with James Orengo and Professor Nyong'o calling for a mass action. Later, violence broke out in the country after widespread incidents of police brutality. Following 2 months of unrest, a peace deal between Raila Odinga and Kibaki, which provided for power sharing and a creation of the post of Prime Minister, was signed in February 2008. It was brokered by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Odinga being sworn in as the second Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya, along with the power sharing cabinet on 17th of April 2008. The post of Prime Minister was last held by Jomo Kenyatta between 1963 and 1964 following independence. Odinga is thus the second person in Kenya's history to hold the position. Raila Odinga's party, Orange Democratic Movement, joined Kalonzo Musyoka's of Wiper Party and Moses Wetangula of Ford Kenya in a coalition for the presidential race, with Raila as the presidential candidate and Kalonzo Musyoka as his running mate. Raila ran for the president in the elections held on 4th of March 2013, garnering 5.3 million votes, while Uhuru Kenyatta garnered 6.1 million votes, this making Uhuru win it on the first round without requiring a runoff between the top candidates. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) therefore officially declared Uhuru Kenyatta the president-elect on Saturday 9th of March at 2:44 p.m. Uhuru was set to take office as Kenya's fourth president. However, Raila Odinga, in a press conference shortly held after the results were announced, noted that elections had been marred by massive failures by BVR kits, EVID, and the poll books, RTS, and the RPS results representation and transmission system. He stated that the manual tallying was suspect, leaving him no choice but out to contest the result in Kenya's highest court, the Supreme Court. Mindful of bringing the challenge, Raila Odinga and his lawyers George Oraro, Mutula Kilonzo, and James Orengo secretly instructed Rajpal Sena, a management consultant from the Barcelona, to carry out forensic investigation to the technology used in the Kenyan general elections in 2013, during which the IEBC made claims on TV and media that there were technological challenges, that servers overloaded and the database crashed. Raila Odinga and his lawyers then took an appropriate legal steps to verify their findings of the Rajpal Sena by consulting authorities in the USA and UK.
Odinga, in full realization of the high calling, assumed the office of the People's President of the Republic of Kenya. So help me God.
After serving as a leader of opposition in Kenya for at least 10 years in the country, in 2018 March 9th, the famous handshake between Raila Odinga and his big-time political rival President Uhuru Kenyatta happened. The handshake, as highlighted in the books, was purposed to bring together two opposing sides and enhance peace in the country. It's a handshake that brought about an intended rivalry between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy, Dr. William Ruto, a union they had since 2013. In 2022, Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta of Jubilee Party came together to form one coalition, Azimio la Umoja, which then incorporated the One Kenya Alliance principles, Gideon Moi of KANU, Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper, and Martha Karua of NARC Kenya, who the latter became the running mate of Raila Odinga under the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya towards the 2022 presidential elections. In the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, Raila has the support of Jubilee Party, led by the President Uhuru Kenyatta, NARC Kenya, led by Martha Karua, her running mate, Wiper Party, led by Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, and KANU of Gideon Moi, among other parties. Dennis Munene for KAK TV.
Fellow citizens, it is with deep sorrow that I inform the nation of the passing on of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, our former Prime Minister, Kenya's foremost statesman, and one of Africa's greatest sons. Kenya, Africa and the world mourn the passing on of a giant of democracy, a fearless freedom fighter, and a tireless warrior of good governance. Raila Odinga's name will forever be etched in the story of our republic, a story of struggle, sacrifice, courage, rule of law, hope, and of our pursuit for excellence. For decades, Raila dedicated his life to the pursuit of justice, equity, and freedom. He endured detention and persecution so that this nation might know and enjoy democracy. He championed reforms that gave birth to the rights and freedoms we hold dear today. His voice spoke for the oppressed. His conviction inspired generations, and his vision shaped the course of our history. Raila Odinga is truly a once-in-a-generation leader, a man whose ideals transcended politics and whose legacy will shape the destiny of Kenya for generations to come. A giant who towered for decades over our democratic landscape. He was a colossus of Kenya's modern politics, an indomitable warrior in our struggle for freedom and prosperity, and a statesman of boundless selflessness. In his passing, we have lost a patriot of uncommon courage, a Pan-Africanist, a unifier who sought peace and unity above power and self-gain, an unceasing servant of the people who gave his all to the promise of a better Kenya. On behalf of a grateful nation, I extend my deepest condolences to Mama Ida, his children, Rosemary, Raila Jr., and Winnie, the entire Odinga family, led by my brother, Oburu Oginga, to the leadership and members of Orange Democratic Movement, and to all Kenyans who share in this immense and immeasurable loss. In honor of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga's extraordinary contribution to our nation, I have declared a 7-day period of national mourning, during which the national flag shall fly at half-mast across the Republic of Kenya and in all our missions abroad. As a mark of respect, I have postponed all my public engagements for the coming days, and I ask all other public servants and leaders to do the same so that we can join the nation in this period of mourning and deep reflection. Our former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, shall be accorded a state funeral with all attendant honors. In consultation with the family, a committee to be co-chaired by the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and the Siaya Senator, Oburu Odinga, has been set up to coordinate the funeral arrangements. At the same time, the Government of India, at the request of the Government of Kenya, has offered to facilitate the repatriation of the remains of our former Prime Minister. Consequently, a delegation comprising government officials and family members, led by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, is leaving immediately for India to facilitate proper organization in the repatriation of the remains of our brother, the Honorable Raila Odinga. Other members of the delegation are cabinet secretaries Kipchumba Murkomen, Hassan Joho, and other ministers, National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, Minority Leader Junet Mohammed, and other members of the Odinga family, Jaoko Oburu Odinga, Kevin Obio Oginga, and others. And Mama Ida herself, the family has finally decided that she will join those who will be going to recover the remains of the Honorable Raila Odinga. Fellow patriots, we have lost a beacon of courage, a tower of principle, and a father of our democracy. Let us come together as he always urged us to do, not as rivals, but as brothers and sisters bound by a shared destiny. As we mourn, I call on all Kenyans to reflect on his towering legacy and the lessons impacted by Right Honorable Raila Odinga's life, work, ideas, and example. In a political career spanning decades, Raila Amolo Odinga offered a compelling model of principled politics. And at a critical moment in our nation's journey, he always put Kenya first before individual or personal interest. May his soul rest in eternal peace. May God comfort his family. May God bless Kenya. I thank you. Leave it there for now. To facilitate the next steps in honor of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Thank you very much.
Following the demise of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who passed on this morning while receiving medical treatment in India, messages of condolences keep flowing in from various leaders and personalities. President Dr. William Ruto, who has officially addressed the nation regarding the same, earlier joined the Odinga family to officially deliver his condolences. Retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, on his official X account, has condoled with the nation, saying he has lost a friend and brother. I quote, "I will miss our conversations, sometimes challenging, always insightful, and the fire of belief that never left his eye." Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Martha Koome, who also on her official X account says the country has lost a statesman whose name is forever etched in the annals of Kenya's democratic journey. On the other hand, President Samia Suluhu of the United Republic of Tanzania has condoled Honorable Raila as a leader who loved people and a solution seeker, saying, I quote, ambaye ushawishi na upendo wake haukuwa tu ndani ya Kenya, bali Afrika Mashariki na Afrika kwa jumla. Other leaders who have sent their condolences include the President of Zambia Hakainde Hichilema, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud of the Federal Republic of Somalia, among other African leaders. Former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, former DP Rigathi Gachagua, Martha Karua, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, and other national leaders.
Wamama hoi! Kibira hoi! Asanteni. Nina furaha ambayo haina kifani kuona vile mmefika kwa wengi namna hii. nyinyi mmeonyesha kwa mfano ya kwamba nyinyi ni watu ambao wanataka amani, sio? Leo ni mkutano tofauti. Hii mkutano ndio mkutano ya kwanza ambayo tumefanya baada mimi na Uhuru kushikana mkono kwa namna hii. Tulisema hatutaki kurudi nyuma. Tulisema mpaka tubadilishe Kenya. Tunataka kuanza siasa ambayo ina sera tofauti. Tulisema tunataka kuua ile ugonjwa kubwa ambao unaitwa ukabila, ubaguzi ya ukabila. Tukasema tunataka kumaliza ile mnyama inaitwa ufisadi na hujuma ya mali ya umma. Tukasema tunataka kumaliza tena vita ya uchaguzi kila mara kwa mara. Tukasema tunataka kuleta ajira kwa vijana. Tukasema tunataka kupigana na ufukara katika taifa letu. Tukasema tunataka kuleta usalama katika taifa letu. Haya yote Uhuru akaniambia mimi yeye anakubali, nikamwambia mimi nimekubali, alafu tukasalimiana mkono. Hiyo ni maana ya handshake. Handshake inataka kujenga taifa mpya tofauti, ambaye hakuna Mkikuyu, hakuna Mkamba, hakuna Mluhya, Mkale, Mjikenda, Turkana, Jaluo, Kisii, wote ni wa Kenya. Sawa? Hakuna kabila ambayo iko hapa Kenya kwa mwaliko ya mwingine. Zote wako hapa kwa haki yao, sio? Tunataka kuonyesha kwamba tunaweza kuunganisha Wakenya pamoja. Mko tayari? Mko tayari? Mngapi wako tayari? Nione kwa mkono. Umoja kwanza, maendeleo yanafuata. Bila umoja hawezi kuwa na maendeleo, sivyo? Na bila amani hawezi kuwa na maendeleo, ama sivyo? Wale wengine wanabweka, wanasema ati Raila ameita watu kwa bedroom yake. Kuna ubaya gani nikileta watu kwa bedroom yangu? Kuna makosa? Si marafiki ndio wanaita kwa bedroom? Wale ambao nasema haya ni wapumbavu tu, hawalewi siasa. Hawa nimeleta sasa. Nataka kutoa shukrani kwa hawa magavana ambao wamefika hapa na wale marafiki wetu wengine ambao wamefika hapa siku ya leo, kuthibitisha ya kwamba wanataka kudumisha Ukenya. Kenya ndio iwe kitu ya kwanza kabisa, sio? Sivyo? Sasa kuna wale wengine sasa unaona wameingia Kibera, kila mmoja amebeba karatasi, wana ile ugonjwa, kuna ile tendawili, haya, anaishi kwa mwili ya binadamu lakini ana tabia ya kinyonga. Nani hiyo? Nani hiyo? Mmeshindwa. Unipate mimi mji basi. Kibra. Sawa. Hiyo ni nywele. Si unajua wasiwasi wa nywele? Akiwa kwa kichwa inaitwa nywele. Akiteremka hapa inaitwa nyuzi, lakini bado ni nywele. Akiingia kwa macho hapa inaitwa kope, bado ni nywele. Akiteremka hapa inaitwa shurubu, lakini bado ni nini? Akifika hapa inaitwa ndevu, bado ni nini?
ikifika hapa kwa kifua naita malaika. Bado ni nini? Lakini ikiingia kwa kwapa na huko chini niliambiwa, lakini nimesahau. Vijana we! Vijana we! Kuna nywele zingine utaka kuzinyoa unapeleka kwa kinyozi. Sio? Lakini kuna wengine upeleka kwa kinyozi, unaingia kwa choo. Unajifunga. Sasa tarehe 7 mwezi huu, yani wiki ijayo, kutakuwa na mechi ya mwisho. Na mechi ya kwanza timu ni mbili, moja inaitwa Tanga Tanga Combine, ingine inaitwa Handshake Combine. Sawa? Ndio zinaingia kwa kiwanja, sivyo? Hiyo mchezo itachezwa, refarini bwana Chebukati. Sasa timu mbili, ile ingine imevaa ile jazi nyekundu na ingine imejaa jazi ile ya machungwa. Sawa? Nimeona timu zinaingia kwenye kiwanja. Ile timu ya Tanga Tanga, captain anaitwa nani? Nani? Arab Mashamba. Nimeona Arab Mashamba ameingia pale, ameshika na mkono na Mariga. Ati Mariga ndio anakuwa ni forward yao. Nimeona pande lingine Msale Mudavadi ameingia na Owalo. Nimeona vile vile Wetangula anaye mwingine aita Butishi. Nimeona wale wanajubilee wanamemeka, wanatanga tanga wanaingia kwenye kiwanja. Upande ile nyingine ile timu ya Handshake Shanke wameingia kwenye kiwanja. Nimeona pale Banambadi. Nimeona pale Charity Ngilu. Nimeona wana Waiguru. Nimeona Gavana Mutua. Nimeona Gavana Kibwana. Nimeona Gavana Ongwae. Oparanya yuko pale. Orenga yuko pale. Na wameweka strike ambaye anaitwa, nimeona wengine pandile winga anaitwa Hassan Joho 001. Na Mama Mishi yuko pale vile vile. Wanaingia kwenye kiwanja. Pia mwekwa chini. Ana referee anaangalia saa. Anapiga firimbi. Na mpira umeanza. Wanaanza na mpira, hiyo ni wanajubilee. Naona kama pale Mariga amechukua mpira amempatia Ruto. Arab Mashamba na mpira. Ana mpira Arab Mashamba. Anampatia Musalia. Musalia amempatia Walo. Walo na mpira. Anampatia Wetangula. Wetangula na mpira. Anampatia Butishi. Butishi na mpira. Anampatia Butishi. Anampatia Butishi. Amempatia Mariga. McDonald Mariga na mpira. Na mpira shoot. Lakini goalkeeper Mama Anu Waiguru amenasa mpira bila wasiwasi. Mama Waiguru ameshika hiyo mpira, amepiga kule mbele kwa Alfred Mutua. Mutua na mpira. Ana mpira Mutua. Amempatia Charity. Amempatia Ongwae. Ongwae na mpira. amempatia Paranya, amempatia Joho. Joho amemchenga Ramashamba makapendeza manguka chini. Ramashamba ameanguka chini, inaonekana ameumia, lakini inaonekana alikuwa amebeba vitu vingine pale, inaonekana alikuwa amebeba pesa, ameanguka na chini. Anatolewa kwa kiwanja, anapelekwa kufanyia huduma ya kwanza. Mpira unaendelea, wanachungwa na mpira, Orengo na mpira, Orengo amekata pande ile, amemrushia Paranya, fanya na mpira, mpatie Joho na mpira, Joho enda pande ile, ni amempatia Imran, ndio kwa mpira.